Now, radio talk show host Hugh Hewitt and Washington Post national political reporter Robert Costa, both are MSNBC political analysts. Thank you, Hugh. I'm always trying to figure you out and your interesting political positioning sometimes, because I know you always talk to conservative radio listeners out there. Where are you after these two? I was overwhelmed by the Democrats' manifest patriotism. Now, there are patriot Democrats, of course, and most of them are, I assume, overwhelmingly. I've never seen such a display.
I'm relieved,
optimistic.
Chris.
Go ahead. I think they're positioning themselves.
At the start of these 2 weeks, I didn't know where we would be at the end of these 2 weeks. And after the First Lady spoke and was absolutely off the charts, I thought, what if they crescendo? Instead, that turned out to be the peak. I thought Mrs. Clinton gave a serviceable, workmanlike, lumbering speech, and Donald Trump outranked her in the ratings. Then today comes the breaking news that her campaign's been hacked across many news cycles. Okay. So she got out of Philadelphia, but barely. I think Donald Trump is feeling very good about winning the ratings and winning the news cycle.
I think Captain Khan's father and mother were the hit of the campaign so far.
Yes, in fact, very emotional, very connecting. I believe that every civilian owes every Gold Star mom and dad a great debt of gratitude and a great deal of respect. And they connected in the way that very few people could connect. I don't think it changes votes. And I think when you get to Hillary's speech, she's saying, listen to what I say, don't look at what I did in Egypt, in Libya, in Syria, in Iraq. Don't look at the Russian reset button. Don't look at my server. Listen to my words. And I don't think that will last long, Chris. We'll see who gets the bump. I don't think it's going to be very much for Hillary Clinton.
You're a rough talker, but you may have some truth there. I mean it. I'm listening to it, too. I didn't think it was a great speech from Hillary Clinton. I wondered it almost. Let me go to Robert Costa. Is there a theory about why she gave a plain speaking, a plain spoken? Let's put it this way, without value judgment. It was plain speaking yesterday. It didn't have what she could have easily gotten from a speechwriter: more lyricism, more music, more uplift, more eloquence. Do you know there's did you know if there's a reason why she gave such a plain spoken talk yesterday?
Most top Democrats I spoke to here in Philadelphia, Chris, they're not framing it as plain spoken. They talked about the tone and the temperament and the delivery as something that appeal to these moderate Republicans, these independents in the suburbs here in Philly and elsewhere who may not like the way Trump speaks, the way Trump comes across. And so what Clinton wanted to do, according to people close to her, her allies, is to project steadiness.
Yeah, so it wasn't meant to be flowery, right?
There's also an understanding, I think, around people close to Clinton that flowery rhetoric, soaring rhetoric, that's never been her style. And for someone who in politics has long been questioned in terms of her authenticity and how she comes across, this was a speech that was Hillary Clinton, who she is, someone who is seasoned in elected politics, seasoned in experience, and presenting herself in that way.
More a workhorse than a show horse. Anyway, as you might expect, Donald Trump didn't like the speech. He probably did like it, but he didn't want to say so. Here he is dumping all over Hillary Clinton's speech of last night.
I watched last night. I watched Hillary Clinton. What a sad situation. And by the way, they're going to let some of these people, I just was informed, they're going to let some of them meander in. Too bad. But I watched her last night giving a speech that was so average.
Let's try to get the theme of the country. Let's try to do this completely down the middle, analytically, Hugh. And this is my question. I think they got it wrong. I think everything at the Democratic Convention this week was beautifully choreographed. Somebody ought to give credit to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because everything this week, from the elevation of the whole tone by Michelle on Monday, to the character witnessing, including that by her husband on Tuesday, to the beautiful speech given by Barack Obama on Wednesday, all the way up through until obviously the very much strong closing argument by the former Secretary of State, all that was very well put together. And yet, I think they missed on one truth. I don't think the country's afraid. I think it's angry.
Oh, you're so right.
And I think they made a decision not to address anger and grievance. Right as well as left. Why do you think they chose? Why did they chose the ground of we have nothing to fear but fear itself, rather than go after the anger, which is incipient, I quoted William Allen White the other day. The dissatisfaction of the American people is manifest.
Well, the anger is rooted in insiderism, and of course the Clintons represent that. But I'll tell you what I think was going on. There are two big experiments underway. The Democrats are trying a transference experiment. They're going to try and transfer the passion of the Bernie people to Secretary Clinton. They're going to try and transfer the deep love and affection of the people for President.
Anger.
It doesn't work, but they're trying it. Over on the Republican side, they're trying to transplant. They're going to try and transplant economic populism into the party of Reagan and Paul Ryan. And they've got the anti-rejection drug of Mike Pence bathing the kidney transplant going on there. But they're both big gambles, big risks, because I don't think you can get Hillary's to transfer over the Bernie passion or the Obama love. She is competent. That's her argument, and her record belies that.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead to you, Robert. What about the mood? Because zeitgeist is everything. I sense if Trump were to win this election, I always try to look ahead and say, what would you guys write in the first and second paragraph if Trump won the national election? You'd say, responding to an overwhelming nationalistic urge based upon dissatisfaction with the direction of the country as manifest in all the polls, including our own. 2/3 of the country don't like the way the country's going. A sense we're being taken by foreign governments, being taken by illegal immigration that isn't regulated at all, and taken into stupid wars. All of that would be the reason for Trump to win. And I wonder why the brilliant people putting this, why did they address those impulses in the Democratic message of this week?
Because Democrats realize that's kind of the swirling storm of this campaign. But when I talk to my Trump associates today, my Trump sources, I say, how do you see this? What do you see the Democrats doing here? And they say, look, at the core here, it's not just about fundamentals on economic populism. Trump has to be seen, they say, as change. He has to be seen as different than the Democratic Party that's been in power for 8 years. And my Trump sources keep telling me if Trump could just be change, then Hillary Clinton and the way she embraced President Obama and his administration and his record over the past week, they think that enables them to maybe make that argument in spite of Trump's missteps and in spite of his controversies.
Well, to make that point, did you notice the imitation is the greatest form of flattery? On Wednesday night or Tuesday night, I get these nights confused. One of the nights they passed out a bunch of placards to all the delegates saying making change. And all of a sudden Hillary decides, oh, no, I'm not the guy that everybody's endorsed. I'm not Obama's ally. I'm this new kid on the block. I'm the newbie. I didn't think that fit into the theme of the week at all because it's not true.
Yeah, Chris, it's schizophrenia. If I can sum it up, Donald Trump is the imperfect messenger of the perfect storm in American politics. Everything is up in the air and completely chaotic, and he is the imperfect messenger of that perfect storm. Hillary Clinton is the 5-time winner of Jeopardy. And she knows a lot more, and she's going to win.
Do you think she knows popular stuff like that you and I know? Do you think she knows all these little things about this movie line and everything?
Oh, my goodness, yes. She probably proofread her own book. But I think you've touched on it. They did not address this boiling, white-hot anger with insiderism and privilege. Peggy Noonan's written about this, the two Americas, people who are connected and those who are not, and Donald Trump is the tribune of the latter.
But when you talk to Democrats here, they're saying you don't need to appeal to those angry voters. Look at Mike Bloomberg's speech. Look at General Allen. They're looking at those voters, national security types who are moderates, maybe intrigued by Trump and saying, look, we can be the party of the hawks. We can be the party of security, too.
Oh, gosh. Oh, so the Democrats will be the neocon party now. Oh, isn't that great? Come on over, Charles Crownhammer. Come on over, Bill Kristol. This is great. Yeah, never mind. Hugh Hewitt, thank you, brother. And thank you, Robert Costa.